Hello, everybody. It's 5 p.m. on the East Coast. You know what that means. It's time to fill a glass with whatever brings you relaxation and joy. And join us for 15 minutes of financial tips on margaritas with Margarita Chang, CFP Pro. I'm Hope Katz Gibbs, producer of the show and founder of the Incandescent Network. Everybody. And here we are today talking about building generational wealth, a family planning strategy. Our guest is Sibyl Slade. She is a chartified retirement planning counselor, vice president of financial advisor at LifePlan. So take it away, Miss Rita. I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say.
Well, thank you, Hope, and happy Financial Literacy Month. I can think of no better individual to represent than Sibyl Slade. We are here to talk about building generational wealth, a family planning strategy. Thank you so much for being here, Sibyl.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, Hope.
So, as mentioned, it is Financial Literacy Month. And there's special awareness in April, but this is something we should be talking about year round. So, Sybil, what's the difference between building wealth and building generational wealth?
So there's a difference, and certainly it's a shift difference, Rita. So when we talk about building wealth, we're usually focused on ourselves and our personal financial situation or financial position and growing our own assets. But when we think about generational wealth, we're thinking about others who are connected to us. We're thinking about amassing the wealth and being able to pass it on to generation after generation after generation. So passing it on to future generations. And again, it takes a mind shift because, like I know, we always hear about people saying, I can't wait until I'm an empty nester. So it's almost like, we want to have our moment in the sun and we kind of forget about everyone else. But with building generational wealth, we want everybody to have their moment.
I love that. Now, how long does it typically take to build generational wealth?
So that's a funny question because the pro for it is 3 years and the con for it is 3 years. So it usually takes about 3 years to build generational wealth. And so, but it also takes 3 years to lose it. About 70% of families lose their generational wealth in the second generation, and then 90% by the third generation. So it's very important when we are building generational wealth that we understand which generation we are and then be able to identify those generations after us and make them understand where they are on the generational wealth building ladder. And if you think about it, many of us, we're first generation something. So what happens is if we don't ensure that we have the second and the third generation buying into this whole generational wealth mindset, then we're constantly starting over and starting over.
I love how you're explaining this change in mindset, financial planning, financial advising, wealth management. It's not just enough to manage your wealth. You need to protect, grow, manage, and transfer your wealth. So, what are the most common assets used to build generational wealth?
So there's three, and I know that you're very aware of them. So one would be real estate. And so creating a real estate portfolio. So maybe there's a family home, then maybe there's a second home. And as a family, we are continuing to purchase real estate and we create a real estate portfolio. And then there's investments. So investments also include cash value insurance policies. So we are all familiar with the term investment when it comes to building wealth. And then last but not least is small business. And with small business, there's a couple of ways of building businesses. One would be a passion, or maybe there is a certain craft that a family member has or skill set that they're really good at. And so they have this passion business. But then there's also the cash cow business. So maybe we're buying a business. Say, for instance, it could be storage container stores or something of that nature, something that it's constantly having cash. And so we're looking to buy a cash business. And business is the hardest one of the 3. I will say that, and unfortunately, that's the one that I'm the most passionate about. I'm passionate about all of them, but small business is the one that I'm most passionate about. Because when we start talking about those legacy businesses, the ones where I talked about the passion and the purpose business, only 30%, roughly 30% of those pass down to the next generation, and 10% of those go to the 3rd generation. So that is kind of the one of the toughest ones to really keep the family engaged in the generational wealth building process is the small business. But it can also be a lucrative one. So when we think about those people like the Rockefellers, what do? They go around and buy businesses, grow them, and sell them. So they're not necessarily pursuing a passion. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that because we all have something that we're passionate about. And if we want to do the legacy family business, that is fine. But we need everyone else in the family to buy into the vision. But if we're going to do the cash cow, well, then that's kind of easy. We're just looking at businesses and we're buying them, growing them, and selling them. And so we're not as attached. So we exit out of them easier to go over to the next business or to purchase the next business. So again, there's 3 ways. It's investment, it's real estate, and it's small business. But I think small business is the one that we have to always take a deeper dive and deeper look at.
I love what you said about small business. If I'm understanding correctly, it's not enough to just buy the business. You have to buy into the vision of that business so that you can have sustainable wealth and build
Yes,
generational wealth.
yes, yes, exactly.
So I know everyone is interested in building generational wealth. Who doesn't want that for their family? We talked about that, but what are the components of getting a family on board to plan for generational wealth?
So this is a great conversation here. I think, or I feel that we have to have a family planning conversation. I don't know about you, Rita, but my family and I, for Thanksgiving, we usually go to the beach and we sit around and talk about one another's dreams. That's an excellent time when everyone's together to really talk about family generational wealth planning. And so some of the components that we have to have in place are having strong management or a talent running the operations of the business and the family wealth plan. If you have a family business, there needs to be someone in the family that actually has that management expertise to do it. For the wealth plan, there needs to be a professional in the family who has that expertise to do it. So having those strong management skills is one. And then we have to stay united as a family and focus on the family mission. Again, everyone, as you said, has to buy into this vision. And then we need to control our lifestyle expenses. So, we all talk about the how do we spend our income in the needs bucket and the wants bucket and the future bucket. Our wants bucket and future bucket should have some degree of set aside or savings or investment that is going to fund this family plan. So that needs to be a line item when we look at how are we spending our income. And then we need to diversify at the right time. I just talked about it a moment ago. Growing and buying businesses, kind of like what we're doing in the investment world. We know when to sell, we know when to hold. Same thing. We need to diversify, take care of our downside risk. So we have to diversify and diversify at the right time. I mentioned it before, the family talent, making sure that we're grooming wealth creators in the family to ensure that the family is making more money for the family. One of the things when I talked earlier about 3 generations for it to lose money, it's because as the family grows generation by generation, there are more heads, right, in the family picture. So that means that more people so more is being taken out than what is going in. So we have to be very methodical about what is going out and what is going in to ensure that we're still creating generational wealth. And other than that, again, it's about buying into those guiding principles and continuing to practice regenerating wealth. And there's 5 core ways to build wealth. But for the most part, we think about financial, and we all know what financial is in the traditional form, how to build wealth. But there's also intellectual wealth. So, what families who generate family wealth do, they actually invest into intellectual wealth by making sure that there are some individuals in the family with formal education, with advanced degrees. Back to that talent conversation that we were having a moment ago. And then there's the knowledge, investing in knowledge. Continuous learning is a must. And we know and understand that, but we have to make sure that the family knows and understand it. And let us not underscore wisdom and experience. We need someone who's knowledgeable and who has experience that's at the table. So we need to build that knowledge wealth and certainly spiritual wealth, that holistic well-being, live well, be well, the mental health component, the physical component. So that is another component of that wealth. And then last but not least, is relational. Who are we connected to? Who do we have relationships with? So when Susan comes home from college with an MBA degree, do we have someone that we can connect her to who can help to um, expedite her career or accelerate her career and so that she will become a high wage earner? So these are all components, or should I say, other pieces of the wealth puzzle that we have to put together on top of the financial wealth.
Sybil, I love that generational wealth isn't just about that financial wealth. I love what you said about the relational, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, physical. These are all really important. I know that you are very passionate about helping ordinary families begin to close the wealth gap and everyone learning that it's not just financial wealth gap, but these other areas of wealth is so important for our readers and listeners. Um, any other parting words you want to share with us, like your website, books, articles? How can people follow your amazing work?
So people can follow me at Sibyl S. Slade. Find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as our website is lifeplanfin.com. So that is how people can find me. And there's also, I can be emailed at Sibyl at lifeplanfin.com. So either way works fine for me. I tend to follow social media. I check my email, and I'm always looking for interest requests from the web.
Well, wonderful and happy Financial Literacy Month, Sybil. And thank you for the superstar that you are to help increase financial literacy, capability, and wellness for all.
Thank you so much, Rita, for having me, and happy Financial Literacy Month to you as well. Continue to do all of the wonderful work that you do.
Oh, thank you. Now back to you, Hope.
Thank you, ladies. Well, that was really interesting. Generational wealth. It's an important topic, right? So we can find lots about that by Sibyl Slade and Rita. Next week, we're talking about another really important topic, planning to pay for college with our friend Brad. Tell us a little bit about him.
So we are still continuing with the theme for Financial Literacy Month. Sybil will love this because this is helping build intellectual wealth and knowledge, as well as you meet those connections and relational wealth. So you don't want to miss hearing from Brad.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, ladies. It's Friday. Go have a margarita or a glass of wine or tea or whatever it is that makes you happy. Thank you, Sybil. Thank you, Rita. Thank you to all of our listeners and viewers. I'm Hope Katz Gibbs with Incandescent, and we will see you next week on Margaritas with Margarita Chang, CFP Pro. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for being part of our Incandescent Radio and TV family. This is Hope Katz Gibbs, founder of Incandescent Incorporated, the PR and publishing company for women entrepreneurs. Our Incandescent Radio and TV shows are brought to you by our advertisers and clients. Margaritas with Margarita Chang, CFP Pro, brings us 15 minutes of tips every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live, where you'll meet experts who are helping us flex our financial muscles. Find all of the episodes at margaritachang.com. You'll also meet intuitive psychotherapist Kara Keem, who interviews therapists and other intuitive guides from around the world. Learn more at karakeem.com. And you're going to love social justice expert Karen Hanrahan, CEO of the San Francisco-based Glide Memorial Foundation. She bridges the gap from local impact to global change on her Thought Leadership show on Incandescent Radio. Learn more about Karen at karenhanrahan.com. You're also going to love Alina Liao, founder of the radical wellness journaling company, zenitjournals.com. Alina asks, have you tried to journal but found it hard to keep up? Zenit makes it easier to journal for your wellness. With Zenit, you can customize your journal with prompts that speak to you. No more blank pages. Your Zenit is your personalized space to take care of yourself. Website, zenitjournals.com. Feel it, write it, Zenit. You'll also meet amazing Tracy Schott, founder of Voices for Change. Tracy is determined to change the world and end domestic violence. Learn more at voicesforchange.net. And we are so thrilled to be publishing a book for Angela Mitchell, who is the tech expert of case management. And she's also the founder of this fabulous organization, Kids Code 2. She is determined to teach kids to code computers. Talk about teaching a kid to fish. We invite you to discover and peruse all the Incandescent Incorporated websites, the magazine For Women, By Women, About Women, incandescentwomen.com. Our health and wellness magazine is beincandescent.com, the business of mind, body, spirit, soul, and heart. Our YouTube channel is incandescent.tv, and you can learn about our PR and book publishing services at incandescent.us. If you'd like to have your own radio and video show, check us out at incandescentradio.com, where you can see what we can do for you. These podcasts are also featured on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Our podcasts are produced by Brandy Wilsker. Our videos are produced by Nelson Benavides. Our website developer is Max Kukoy, and our incandescent illustrator and designer is Michael Glenwood Gibbs. If you'd like to learn more, please send me an email, hope@hopegibbs.com. Here is to your incredible, indelible, incandescent success. Much love and many